I traveled to Israel in the days immediately following the horrific attacks of October 7th. And I made clear then the commitment of the United States to Israel's security and to ensuring that October 7th could never happen again. I also underscored Israel's moral, strategic, and legal requirements to protect civilians and provide humanitarian assistance to those who needed it. Now, of course, what happened after October 7th could have ended immediately if Hamas had stopped hiding behind civilians, released the hostages, and put down its weapons. But Israel is not Hamas. Israel is a democracy. Hamas, a terrorist organization. And democracies place the highest value on human life, every human life. As has been said, whoever saves a life saves the entire world. That's our strength. It's what distinguishes us from terrorists like Hamas. If we lose that reverence for human life, we risk becoming indistinguishable from those we confront. Here's the current reality in Gaza. Despite important steps that Israel has taken to allow assistance into Gaza, the results on the ground are woefully insufficient and unacceptable. 100% of the population in Gaza knows acute levels of food insecurity. 100% of the population is in need of humanitarian assistance. And those working heroically to provide that assistance are doing so in great peril to their own lives. This week's horrific attack on the World Central Kitchen was not the first such incident. It must be the last. President Biden spoke a short while ago with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The leaders discussed the situation in Gaza. The president emphasized that the strikes on humanitarian workers and the overall humanitarian situation are unacceptable. He made clear the need for Israel to announce a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers. He made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action on these steps. He underscored as well that an immediate ceasefire is essential to stabilize and improve the humanitarian situation and protect innocent civilians, and he urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to empower his negotiators to conclude a deal without delay to bring the hostages home. The two leaders also discussed public Iranian threats against Israel and the Israeli people. President Biden reaffirmed the United States' strong support for Israel in the face of these threats and our commitment to Israel's security. Right now, there is no higher priority in Gaza than protecting civilians, surging humanitarian assistance, and ensuring the security of those who provide it. Israel must meet this moment.
A couple questions on Gaza. But first of all, you said the president called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Is the administration no longer linking a ceasefire to the release of hostages and in telling the Israeli prime minister that he needs to empower negotiators to secure a deal? Are you saying the administration sees Israel as a problem on that front? And then, you said the administration will rethink its approach to Israel if it doesn't see immediate action to address the humanitarian concerns in Gaza. What is immediate action, really? Is there a timeline here that you're expecting to see? And I also want to say that we did ask the press corps traveling with you, asked a couple times in the aftermath of that airstrike on the convoy that killed 7 aid workers, including an American. We asked you about that, and you expressed grief, but you didn't express outrage. You didn't condemn the strike as your French counterpart did at the time. Can you tell me what changed in the last 48 hours or so?
First of all, on that, nothing changed. When I saw the news of the strike, I was outraged. And I strongly condemn it. When I spoke to it the other day, others of my colleagues had been out. I was focused on the people, the individuals who had lost their lives, given their lives in service of their fellow human beings. That was what was motivating me in those initial comments, because it's so important that the world understand these are heroes. And what these men and women did, the ones who lost their lives in Gaza, as well as people working for World Central Kitchen around the world in so many places of conflict, is extraordinary and the best of humanity. And I thought it was important as well to put the focus on that, even as the administration spoke clearly about our outrage and our condemnation. So nothing's changed. I focused on the human beings involved. Our conviction remains that we need to see an immediate ceasefire to enable the release of hostages, but also to enable a dramatic surge in humanitarian assistance, as well as obviously better protecting civilians. Now, as I said, the President and the Prime Minister just spoke, but it's our expectation that Israel will and certainly should announce concrete, specific, measurable steps that it will take, and take as soon as possible, to make sure that there can be an effective surge in assistance, that it can be sustained, and that humanitarian workers and civilians are better protected.